This is the plaintiff, Matthew Gabler. He says he was hired to do some forensic analysis on a rap song the defendant said was stolen from him. He did the first stage of the analysis, but the defendant got angry with him regarding the cost, so he never completed it. A year later, the defendant shows up in his work parking lot. The guy attacks him, steals his briefcase, and then takes off before the cops arrive. He had some very expensive things in that briefcase and is now suing the defendant for $6,586.88 for pain and suffering, medical bills, and stolen items. This is the defendant, Michael Key. He says the plaintiff's a nutjob who's lying about him attacking him and stealing his things. The only reason he came to the plaintiff's workplace was to ask for his money back because he didn't complete the job he was hired for. He's here defending himself in this court because he wants to clear his good name and go back to being a dad of 4 and a coach. He's accused of an assault. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,200 for lost wages.
All parties, please raise your right hand. You see, come to order, please. Litigants have been affirmed, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Gabler, you are suing Michael Key, your former client, for $6,586.88 that you say you are out as a result of him attacking you and stealing your briefcase. You have a counterclaim against him for $1,200 for your lost wages because you consider this whole thing a waste of your time. Talk to me. What happened? How did the two of you meet?
He contacted my office regarding having an audio file forensically analyzed to do a voice analysis.
And why did you need an audio file forensically analyzed and a voice analysis done?
Because I've had a song of mine was stolen by a couple of platinum recording artists, and I was told by an entertainment attorney that this would be an appropriate means to build the case, to have a forensic voice analyzer determine whether or not it was my voice on the song.
Now you're not just saying that your lyrics were stolen or your music was stolen, you're saying that your actual recording was used by those other artists.
Yes.
All right, and what was the agreement you had with him? Is that he would compare what to what?
He would compare my voice through an exemplar song of mine.
Now, an exemplar is a sample of your voice,
yes.
Okay?
And so
he would compare it to the song in question that those other artists marketed, correct?
Yes.
All right, and how much were you going to pay for that?
I had to pay him $750 initially.
The whole thing would be done for $750?
That's what initially what I had thought. I thought that paying him the $750, that this would be enough money to determine, because it's only a 5-minute song, so I was under the impression that.
But why would you be under the impression? I saw the emails where he tells you it's $750 to look at it at first, and then it's how much an hour after that?
Well, our hourly rate for analysis is $275 at the time. Okay,
he sent you an email 2 months earlier saying these are the terms, and you responded, I accept your terms. How is it you wouldn't know that $750 wasn't going to cut it?
I guess I misinterpreted it.
I wonder. But then in your original evaluation, what was it that you concluded?
Well, it was difficult to make conclusions with his particular recording because it was a song as opposed to just voices. So there's multiple lyricists singing. There's percussions and music in the background.
We're talking now about the finished product that he says stole his voice.
That's right.
Right.
So the evaluation was to determine, can we even do a voice analysis on his recording?
All right. So now talk to me and tell me what happens. In these series of emails, I see you tell him, I don't think we're going to be able to do this.
Right. So in his particular song, there was an effect used. I don't know what it's called in the music industry, but to our ears, it was an echoing effect where his vocals were layered upon itself. So now that effect complicated the whole process because it meant that the software that we would use to do the voice analysis would have a difficult time hearing the specific details that would be listened to compare the noises to determine, is the exemplar a match to the unknown?
Okay, so did you then say, we can't do this? Or what did you say to him?
So we came to the conclusion that we believe it might be possible. And what I explained over the phone was that if you want to move forward, get started. And if immediately the software that we use throws back an error saying insufficient sample, we cease work and return any unused remainder of what he pays.
So what price did you quote him at that point?
$4,000.
All right, and then what happens? When you propose the $4,000, what does he do?
He got upset.
What did he say?
Well, he said it was ridiculous. He said that we've already spent time on it. He tried to tell me that the song is only 5 minutes, so it should only take me 5 minutes, that any person could listen to it and make a determination that it's his voice, things of that nature.
That's not how this stuff works, though. But so was he angry?
He was.
And what did he say to you?
Well,
Were there any fighting words?
There were.
And what were they?
I think I told him over the phone, you know what? I think I've done my evaluation. I've told you what I think we can do and the costs. If you have further questions, you can go ahead and send them to me via email and I'll respond. And his words to me were to the effect of, from this point forward, there's no emails. We'll handle this in person. And then he hung up the phone. Okay, so that felt aggressive. And then what else did he say to you? Then he came back with some emails telling me about how this is a moral and ethical issue, that he wants to go after these people, these other musical artists, because of what's involved with it. That
I can't sleep now. I am seriously asking you, do you believe in God? I do. This song is huge. This song is the reason I stopped living the lifestyle I was living and turned my life over to Jesus Christ. Please help me. I am Michael, the devil's arch rival, and I need your help, Marty. Please write something for me. These demonic rappers made millions off this song. Please help me fight evil. At least help me get the recognition I deserve.
That's one of his emails.
And then another one, there will be repercussions. And now I feel like you have taken my money and have not done the work. This is all in May of 2018. When was the last time you heard from him back then?
In August of 2018.
And then August of 2019, what happens?
A year later, he showed up at my work. I had been
Now, he didn't live in you live in L.A.
That's right.
And he did not live in L.A.
Correct.
He was living in where, Vegas?
Yeah.
Okay, and he shows up at your work, and what happens?
Well, I had gotten a phone call. I'd been running a little late that morning. My boss called me to let me know that somebody came by the office looking for me, which is very unusual. My boss told me that person's name, which I didn't recognize.
What was the name?
I don't recall, maybe Joe.
But it wasn't his name.
Correct.
Okay.
So I told my boss, I don't know who it is. I'll, look up my case files when I get to work. I showed up at work about 10 minutes later. I parked, and as I was getting out of my car, I noticed that there was a man sitting on like a park bench at the end of the parking lot that's near the entrance to my building. As I walked towards the entrance, this individual intercepted me in the middle of the parking lot.
And who was that individual?
The defendant.
Okay.
And he said, are you Marty? Marty is the name that I go by at work. It's my Hebrew name. That's what my clients and everybody call me. So I said yes. And then he started speaking to me. And it was a very bizarre conversation. I didn't recognize him. I usually don't know what anyone...
You had never met him?
Correct.
Right, you'd never seen his picture?
That's right.
Okay, so go ahead.
So he says to me, you said some racist things, and I said some things, and I'm here to apologize, and also this. And then he swung at me and tried to punch me. How did he swing?
I'm going to ask you to show me, step here to the center and show me with my bailiff, pretend my bailiff is you and you are him, exactly what went down.
Well, he was standing to me somewhat bladed, kind of at an angle like this. He said, you said these racist things, and I said some things, I'm here to apologize, and also this. And then he stepped forward and swung at my head. Okay, did he actually make contact? He did. Not with my head, but he did make contact. What did he make contact with? I blocked his punch by putting my arm up like this, and he made contact with the inside of my elbow. Okay. So which arm did you lift? My left. Okay. All right. We didn't need you at all.
No, not at all.
All right. And then what happened?
So I was carrying, in my right hand I had my coffee, and in my left hand I had my briefcase with my computer and tools in it. Immediately when he punched at me, I dropped both of them and raised my hands to defend myself and moved back. After he punched me, I moved back a couple feet, and he came at me again, and he grabbed at me. He tore open my shirt. And,
how did he tear open your shirt?
The pocket. Like the pocket was ripped open.
Okay.
I ran towards the opposite end of the parking lot, and he started to come at me. I pulled out my cell phone and called 911. And when he saw me on my phone, he turned around, went back to where my laptop had fell, picked it up, and
Your
took
laptop?
off. The briefcase.
Okay. Was there a laptop in it?
It was.
All right, and what happened?
He picked it up and took off down an alley behind my building.
Did the police come out?
They did.
Has he been arrested?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
But there is a pending investigation with Beverly Hills Police Department.
Did you end up filing for a restraining order?
I did.
And there was a hearing in front of a judge, and were you granted the restraining order?
I was.
What happened out there? Why were you there?
I was already in the neighborhood, and I stopped by to try to talk to him about getting the refund for the $750. I hadn't talked to him in a while, and
It was
when
a year. A year had passed.
But no, we had talked on the phone though. We had talked numerous times, and he had always asked me like weird questions, like, "Oh, so are these guys have a lot of money, right? They're platinum recording artists," and would just ask me unorthodox questions that let me know that, oh man, this guy. That's when I said, "Look, I just want my money back."
Wait, what did it let you know?
That he was not gonna. That he was trying to just railroad me and get more money out of me instead of doing the job that he said. He has already stated that his equipment needed to be upgraded. So
Had you ever stated your equipment needed to be upgraded?
No.
Because that would be a kind of a weird thing for someone to tell their clients. So a whole year passes and then you show up,
Right.
and what happens?
I did knock on the door and asked if Matthew was there. He said no. So while I was waiting for him, I just seen him, and I said I wanted to apologize and that we had a misunderstanding, but I never swung on him. I left. I seen him, and I left.
Wait, you went all the way to his office to just say what? I apologize, we had a misunderstanding?
No, I also, because I thought that through his Facebook messages that he was pretty much saying the racist stuff, like are African Americans considered in Canada? Or and then also he said, "You sons."
Wait, hold on, stop a second.
said
Are
you
you talking about on his own Facebook, or are you talking about in messages to you?
On his on his Facebook.
On his Facebook, what did he say?
You sons of silly Englishmen, you nigglets need to go back home.
What does that mean?
Facebook has your favorite quote. And I quoted a line from Monty Python in The Search for the Holy Grail. It's the scene where King Arthur goes to the French castle, and the Frenchmen are taunting King Arthur. It says, "I fart in your general direction, so-called Arthur King. Your mother was a hamster, your father smelt of elderberries," and so forth and so on.
What does niglet mean?
You'll have to ask Monty Python, but it's kniggets.
Well,
How do you excuse you, how do you spell it?
Kniggets, I think.
Okay, Mr. Key, what I need you to do is answer my question. Why were you there, sir?
well, because I was trying to get my $750 back.
Okay, so you didn't go over there to apologize. You went over there to try to get your $750 back. So when you see him, what do you say to him?
I said that you got me for $750. Can I get my reimbursement back? And then that's when he like threw his stuff at me and ran back and and started calling 911. And I was like, I'm out of here. And I left.
So where's his briefcase?
I don't know. It fell on the ground. I never took anything from him. I don't need to.
Okay.
Definitely there wasn't.
You have some video that you want to show me. You don't have video in the parking lot.
That's right.
But you have it in front of your office.
Correct.
This is him that day.
Yes.
Why do you have gloves on?
Like I said, I was there to do some work, construction. I'm a journeyman carpenter.
Jeff. Yeah, no, I was working out in the neighborhood. We're doing some construction over here, and I was wanted to talk to him.
This is you, and this is after what you say happened?
Right, so this is moments after he attacked me. I'm Matthew Gabler, Gabler, Matthew's common spelling. It's me. It's Matty. Hold on a second, he attacked me.
You sure sounds agitated. Do you have a police report from that day?
Yes.
May I see it? Yes. Whatever happened to your lawsuit against those artists?
It costs ridiculous amounts of money, and I can't afford it.
So now apparently the computer is part of another case where the company is suing for it because they're the actual owners, correct?
That's right.
So what you're suing for are your items that were inside of that case, which were what?
It's my work computer. I testify in court often and will play evidence and testify about evidence. So it's all the equipment that I need to go to court to be able to present evidence. So all the adapters to be able to plug into various TVs and equipment.
A textbook, the briefcase itself, and a glucose test kit?
That's right. So I'm a diabetic. My glucose monitor and all those supplies were in my briefcase.
Mr. Key, I'm having a little bit of difficulty given the tenor of your emails to this gentleman, given the fact that you show up at his place of work, given the fact that we all know why you showed up there. You didn't show up there to talk to him. You showed up there to get your money back. Why are you there? There's only one reason to be there, and that's to get your money, come hook or crook. And why do you send an email saying to him, from now on, our conversations are going to be in person?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. If this defendant really did ambush the guy in a parking lot, does that sound like this was just a blind attack where there's no defense?
Oh, absolutely. You can't just ambush somebody in a parking lot.
I mean, the fact that it's in a parking lot and the guy kind of comes out of nowhere, ambushes the guy, does that sound like this is just a vicious attack with no defense?
Absolutely. I feel it does, yeah.
Could there be a self-defense argument when somebody ambushes somebody in a parking lot?
Absolutely, it could be. Anyway.
It could be self-defense?
It could be self-defense.
How?
I'm not sure.
Oh, take it back. I'm kidding, going inside the courtroom.
I had already asked him if I could meet him in person from the emails.
And
so
then
that
you
I
show
can
up
give him
unannounced,
my
and then you tell him, I want my money. And you say that in a parking lot. And then what else do you say? He says, you can't have your money? What does he answer?
He just started like looking at me weird, and yeah, so I didn't. Just felt it was just an odd situation. I was already there for work on lunch, so I just left and went back.
That's it. That's a peaceful little thing that happened. And yet he, who, according to you, he ran away, right?
Yeah.
So he's afraid of you. Right. So then what he did was make up this whole lawsuit against you. Brings you into court from Vegas for the restraining order because you got served with the restraining order. So I don't know if you were back in Vegas yet or not. I think that's part of your time that you're suing for. So he, who runs away from you, makes up the whole story about you stealing his briefcase.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like he's made up the story that it took him an additional $4,000 and that he needed to upgrade his equipment. I'm a lot of things. I'm not a thief. And I didn't assault him at all.
So tell me how it is that you've made $560-something in contents into a $5,000 case. Tell me about that.
Well, the 560, whatever, is for the items stolen. This has had an effect on my life, unfortunately. I mean, as a forensic expert, I work on a lot of cases that put me in contact with some rather unsavory people, typically always in the context of a courtroom. This is unique because one of the people that asked me to help him came and attacked me. My anxiety is now raised. Now I carry pepper spray every time I'm coming in and out of my car. I'm always looking over my back, wondering when's the next time he's going to show up. If he was willing to stew and wait a year to come back, and not just come back, as Your Honor saw in the video, he's in a disguise. He's wearing gloves. He's wearing sunglasses. He gave a false
I don't know
name.
that he's in a disguise. I mean, if he was, working, that's maybe how he works.
Okay,
and his email does say Jeff Lee on it. I don't know why. I have a question for you, sir. You're suing for $1,200 for what?
Because I've missed 3 days of work.
When?
I missed a day to work to go out for these 2 days, as well as I'm going to have to go back out to court for his company. And these are all work days. I have dispatches.
Right. So are you suing also for the days that you were there for the restraining order?
Yeah.
Okay, you know you lost the restraining order, right? Like they granted it. That judge found that you did it.
This was actually for these 2 days. I have to be here for yesterday and today, and then also.
All right, folks, I've heard enough. Mr. Key, on your counterclaim against Mr. Gabler, 0. And Mr. Gabler, on your claim against him, I am finding in your favor in the amount of the briefcase and the contents of the briefcase that belong to you, $586.88, and ask for future medical bills and pain and suffering. Can you tell me how it is? You've told me that you're afraid now that it changed your life. That's the pain and suffering. What future medical bills are you talking about?
To see a counselor.
Have you seen a counselor?
I've spoken to one, yes. There's a gentleman in my community.
Okay, are you actually seeing a counselor?
No, not yet.
Okay, so I don't buy that, but I am going to order you to pay him $1,000 in punitive damages because I 100% believe what he said happened. $1,586.88, verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff gets a judgment against the defendant, Mr. Key, over $1,500. What are you thinking?
For punitive damages and for, I don't remember the rest, but it definitely wasn't for what he was trying to state.
$500.
It was $6,600
Oh, he was suing for
initially.
$6,500. Yeah,
so
a lot less. But the punitive was for taking a swing at him, you know?
Which I never did.
Well, and I think the judge agrees that you did. What ended up as a result of this whole quest to get, you know, the analysis?
Nothing.
You couldn't prove it was you?
No, it's you have to have copyrights, masters, and I don't have that.
You don't have. Sorry about that. Okay, thank you very much. All right, Mr. Gabler. Well, you didn't get what you were seeking, but you did win.
And that's true. Twice now.
That's the important thing, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you still have a judgment? I mean, not a judgment, but you know, he can't come near you, right?
That's right. There's still a restraining order.
Okay. Do you do this a lot?
Get attacked? Or?
No. Analyze voice tapes?
That's
your business?
Well, we do voice analysis for video forensics, audio forensics, still images. Yeah.
Very interesting business. Okay.
It is.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Okay, Harvey?
Okay, Doug, I mean, this is pretty simple, and people ask for it all the time, and they never get it. You cannot get lost wages just because you have to miss work to go to court, period.